Good evening, and thank you for joining us. The Chief Executive and Council has approved a financial arrangement for the smart and green mass transit system in East Kowloon. The government plans to invite tenders for the project in July, with 3 residential plots up for grabs. The 3 residential sites are located near Kai Tak next to the Children's Hospital, on the Chakwa Ling Road site near Kuntong Road, and a depot site at Ma Yau Tong. Authorities say as the present value of revenues net of projected expenditures will fall short of the expected return on capital, the government will provide funding support for the East Kowloon project through granting property development rights of 3 sites primarily for residential uses to the future franchisee, with a view to increasing incentives. Upon completion of the East Kowloon project, the commuting time from Po Tat Sao Mau Ping areas to either Yau Tong or Choi Hong is expected to be around 10 to 15 minutes, which is about half the time for road-based traffic. Over 300,000 residents will be served along the 9 stations. The government targets to award the contract next year and commission the project on or before 2033. The government adopted the use of the smart and green mass transit system, which has stronger climbing capability, does not require an overhead power system, and is lightweight, which can help overcome the complicated geographical constraints in the uphill areas of East Kowloon. Secretary for Transport and Logistics Mei Bu-chan says the winning bidder for the project will be responsible for its financing, design, construction, operation, and maintenance. Dogs will be allowed in restaurants starting July 9th. A ballot was held today to allocate the 1,000 restaurant license quotas in the first phase. The ballot took place Friday morning at Lai Chi Kok government offices. Legislative Council panel on Food Safety and Environmental Hygiene Chairperson Rebecca Chen conducted the computerized draw in 5 groups. For the first phase, after excluding duplicate and ineligible applications, a total of 1,616 license applications have been received. A successful restaurant operator said they expect a dog permit will benefit their business. This manager says they have prepared disposable dog food containers, water, snacks, and leashes. Separate seating will be arranged for customers who are uncomfortable with dogs when they make reservations. They believe the policy will help buoy business. Restaurants being placed on the waiting list, meanwhile, hope authorities could expand the number of licenses. The manager says they are often asked by dog owners if pets can be allowed indoors instead of having to stay outdoors, especially during summer. Around 8 to 9 such requests are made every day, so securing a license will make relevant arrangements easier. Lawmaker Rebecca Chen asked the quota is not fixed and may be increased gradually depending on circumstances. Successful applicants will receive SMS notifications and a letter next Tuesday detailing license conditions. They must complete application procedures at the licensing office by June 24th with a fee of $140. If payment is not completed by the deadline, the quota will be allocated to eateries on the waiting list. Police say at least 9 people are found guilty of creating forged academic documents in recent years. An investigation by TVB News has found mainland agencies selling fake reference letters from top global universities online. Mo Sing-ai reports.
Academic reference letters are often a requirement for students who wish to study a postgraduate or doctoral degree. But have you ever thought such letters can be brought online? On this mainland e-commerce platform, an agency advertises fake academic reference letters. They say the customized letters will be written by academics from the world's top 100 universities, such as Harvard, Cambridge, and Oxford. To obtain such a document, customers need to pay a minimum of 4,000 yuan. Another agency claims they could contact world-class scholars to write reference letters before sending the documents using the domain of .edu, helping to suggest they come from an educational institution. Customers who pick that package must pay $8,000, roughly 62,000 Hong Kong dollars. Based on the list provided by the agency, TVB News emailed 6 professors from universities, including Cambridge and Harvard, and asked them about the matter. Our reporter received 4 replies. All of them claimed their identity had been stolen. Our reporter also asked a cybersecurity expert on the issue of fake email domain. The expert says not all regions are strict about the application of top-level domain, unlike Hong Kong. Police say authorities arrested 76 people on suspicion of false academic documents between 2021 and March this year. 13 people have been prosecuted and 9 were convicted. Education officials also say they will have zero toleration towards those caught with fake documents. Moments 9, TVB News.
The new Huanggang port building is expected to commence operations by July at the earliest. Authorities say the port's passenger volume at the upgraded building can reach 200,000 daily. Here's Mo Seng-ai again.
Located in Futian, Shenzhen, the new Huanggang Port building will become the only 24-hour passenger border control point between Hong Kong and mainland upon commissioning. Started in 2019, the construction work of the main building has been completed, and authorities are testing its customs clearance system, consisting of 134 automated channels and more than 60 manual counters. The new facilities will reduce passengers' crossing time from 30 to 5 minutes.
24小時喎，5分鐘喎。
Some Hong Kongers like the enhanced efficiency because they will not need to spend much time waiting to cross the border.
我還是希望深圳這邊。
Meanwhile, a few Shenzhen residents hope authorities can establish more convenient transport arrangements at the new port. While car parks are not available at the new building, authorities are studying the possibilities of constructing parking facilities near the port. Separately, the Hong Kong government predicts the 6.2-kilometer Northern Link spur line, which provides direct rail access to the new port, will be open no later than 2034. Moments 9, TVB News.
The government says that by the end of next year, all private clinics must obtain licenses. Those operating clinics with no license may see a maximum fine of $100,000 and imprisonment of up to 3 years. Currently, the private medical institutions ordinance only requires hospitals to obtain licenses. This will be extended to all clinics by the end of next year. The Department of Health has been accepting applications since October last year. Small-scale clinics can apply for exemptions. As of this month, the department has received 813 license applications, with only 15% or 118 cases approved. As for exemptions for small-scale clinics, there were 3,026 applications, with 97% processed. Welcome back. Thailand's Princess Bajarikitiaba Mahidol, a lawyer and the eldest of King Maha Vajiralongkorn's children, has died at the age of 47. The Bureau of the Royal Household said she had been cared for at a Bangkok hospital since falling unconscious due to illness 3 years ago. Tracy Furness has more.
Mourners hold photos of Thailand's Princess Bajarikitiaba Mahidol gathering at King Chulalongkorn Memorial Hospital following the announcement of her death. This local resident said, "I know she was sick, but I wish there was a miracle. Last night I slept here until I heard the announcement at 7:45 this morning. I was sad and shocked." She died Thursday evening at the Bangkok hospital where she had been cared for since falling unconscious 3 years ago. Bajarikitiaba was active in justice reform efforts and best known for her Inspire project to help rehabilitate incarcerated Thai women ahead of their release. She was also involved in a campaign to enhance living conditions of women prisoners and promoting efforts to stem violence against women as an honorary UN Goodwill Ambassador for Women. Her efforts led to the UN General Assembly adopting the Bangkok rules on care and conditions for female prisoners. She worked briefly at the Thai mission to the UN in New York City and worked as a public prosecutor when she returned to Thailand. She renewed her diplomatic career with an appointment as Thailand's ambassador to Austria from 2012 to 2014. Bajarikitiaba was hospitalized in December 2022 after falling unconscious while training dogs for an army exhibition. The palace said she had a mycoplasma infection, a bacterial infection usually associated with pneumonia. Tracy Furness, TVB News.
Former South Korean President Yoon Suk-yeol's legal team filed an appeal on Friday against a verdict on his general treason charges. Yoon was sentenced to 30 years in prison for general treason linked to the infiltration of drones into North Korea back in 2024. Mo Seng-ai has more.
Both Yoon Suk-yeong and his former defense minister were sentenced to 30 years in prison on Friday in a case where Yoon was alleged to have ordered drone flights over Pyongyang 2 years ago. The Seoul Central District Court found Yoon and Kim Yong-han guilty of aiding an adversary and abusing their power, saying they sought to provoke North Korea into launching armed attacks against South Korea to manufacture a national emergency. The same court earlier sentenced Yoon to life in prison for a rebellion conviction over his short-lived imposition of martial law in December 2024. North Korea accused Seoul of flying drones over Pyongyang to drop propaganda leaflets in October 2024. Tensions at the time rose sharply but did not lead to any military clashes. Yoon proceeded with a martial law declaration on December 3, 2024, which lasted 6 hours until lawmakers broke through a blockade of soldiers and police at the National Assembly and voted to overturn it. Yoon was quickly impeached, suspended from office, and eventually removed. He was arrested in July 2025. Moments 9, TVB News.
The Football World Cup kicked off in Mexico City earlier today, but a protest by students and anti-establishment groups unfolded near the city stadium. Demonstrators from a number of local universities marched towards the venue, criticizing the Mexican government for the cost of hosting the tournament and other issues. Some protesters attempted to push through police lines, while others threw stones and other objects at officers. Police responded with explosive noisemakers and other crowd control devices. Riot police eventually moved to disperse the demonstrators and stop them from reaching the fans arriving for the opening game. Separately, relatives of missing people also marched towards the stadium, carrying photos of their loved ones. They demanded justice and expressed hope that the tournament spotlight would help draw attention to one of Mexico's main human rights crises. The country has more than 130,000 people officially registered as missing or disappeared, according to government data. Relatives have long accused authorities of failing to adequately investigate disappearance cases. Pope Leo has arrived in Canary Islands to wrap up his week-long trip to Spain. He spoke about the importance of humility during a stadium mass in Las Palmas. For the final stop of his trip, he is fulfilling a wish of the late Pope Francis to visit the islands to commemorate the thousands of lives lost at sea. The Canary Islands are the key point of entry for migrants who make the perilous Atlantic crossing from West Africa. The pontiff stressed the importance of humility during the stadium mass on Thursday and issued an impassioned plea to recognize the dignity of migrants. He is drawing attention to the Catholic Church's biblically mandated mantra to welcome the stranger, amid anti-migrant sentiment in Europe and the Trump administration's mass deportation program in his native United States. NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte was asked about UK Defence Secretary John Healey's resignation on Thursday, shortly after it was announced. At a briefing alongside Norwegian Prime Minister Jonas Gahr Støre after their meeting in Brussels, Rutte said he had not heard the news. In his resignation, Healey said the UK government was not willing to spend enough on the military at a time of rising threat. Rutte, who has been pushing for NATO allies to increase their defense commitments, conceded that this was not an easy balance to strike with other economic priorities. Prime Minister Keir Starmer has pledged to boost UK defence spending to 2.5% of gross domestic product by 2027 and 3% by 2034. A 63-year-old mechanical worker died while working at Ocean Park. Police received reports at around 9 a.m., saying the male employee was found unconscious in the maintenance area of a roller coaster. He was sent to hospital for treatment and was later pronounced dead. It is believed that the man told his family he had heart issues and was supposed to visit the Eastern Hospital for a checkup today. A building in a film set at TVB City in Cheongkwon caught fire around noon. The blaze was extinguished after about an hour. The Fire Services Department has classified the case as a number 2 alarm fire. Video footage shows flames spread from the ground floor to the second and third floors with plumes of smoke. 4 jets and 3 breathing apparatus teams were deployed to tackle the blaze. The cause of the fire is still under investigation. Guangzhou's Municipal Commerce Bureau has issued a document supporting the launch of regular racing events at the Chonghua Racecourse. The 15th five-year plan for Guangzhou's commercial development calls for public views on various proposals. It suggests supporting the development of horse racing. Hong Kong Jockey Club's Chonghua Racecourse is expected to hold its first international race event by the end of October, but with no gambling involved. To facilitate the event and the movement of horses, Guangzhou Customs has developed a horse face intelligence recognition system, which can complete identification of horses in under 3 seconds, with an accuracy rate of up to 99%. For travelers, the Hong Kong International Airport is a gateway to their next destination. But a non-profit organization has turned it into a place where dreams come true for a patient who was diagnosed with leukemia at 14 years old, but has set sights on joining the aviation industry since childhood. Our Kelly Law spoke with the beneficiary as well as representatives from the airport authority and the charity.
Hands on the controls of a flight simulator, 20-year-old Forrest takes her seat in a remote cockpit. Terrain. Carefully following instructions from professionals at Hong Kong International Aviation Academy, as she experiences what it is like to command an aircraft. The aviation enthusiast is given exclusive access to areas rarely seen by the public, including the baggage handling hall, while seeing flight movement in real time. Diagnosed with leukemia in 2020, Forrest recovered from the ailment in 2023. Now study aviation at HKU's School of Professional and Continuing Education. She says the airport has long inspired her dream career.
When I was little, I always go travel with my parents, and I begin to notice about the operations in the airport. And those operations are very interesting, and I started to keep it in mind.
Inside the control center, Forrest on site witnessed how we work together as a team, leveraging different technologies, serving passengers from the moment they land in Hong Kong to the moment they collect their baggage and then take a different transport to different parts of the town. This is a very integrated process. A lot of teamwork goes into it. I hope that this will impress Forrest today, that at the airport there are different career opportunities, and it is a big team.
Forrest has gone through so many painful treatments and all the complications. Granting a wish today not only is a celebration of her recovery, but it's also an empowerment, give them the strength that they need to fight the illness.
In 2026, Make-A-Wish Hong Kong aims to fulfill the dreams of around 130 young patients with critical illnesses. Kelly Law, TVB News.
And that's the news. Thank you for watching.